Dude, you're so trash at this game. Learn how to play.
Bro, you literally play Yuji. He's the most brainless, unskilled character in JJS. You just get carried by him.
How did you just... Whatever. What do you mean, bro? He has black flash chaining, feints, and like his movement, and all that takes skill, I think, at least.
Whatever, man. Just keep playing your easy-ass character.
If you've played JJS enough, I'm sure you've had a conversation similar to this one. But what actually makes a character skilled or hard to play? Is it the depth of combos, a high skill ceiling, a high skill floor, or what about the average person who uses said character? Someone like Gojo, most people would agree, is pretty easy to play, but who is actually hard to play? A lot of characters have extremely high skill ceilings in JJS, but can also be played like an iPad kid for similar success on said character. So, what's the difference? Well, I'm here to answer that question today by dissecting different characters, finding what actually gives a character its difficulty, and more. If you enjoy, like and subscribe for 300 Slaughter Demons delivered straight to your doorstep. Oh, and quick disclaimer before this video starts, this is just the best answer I can give to this complicated question, which will likely involve saying some of your guys' mains are unskilled. So don't get all worked up in the comments when I say your main is easy to play, alright? Your individual skill is defined by you only, not the character you play. Alright, let's begin. So the first thing we should probably discuss here are skill floors and skill ceilings. If you aren't aware, a skill ceiling is relatively how much room a character has to grow and do cool things when you're highly skilled and experienced with them. Someone like Yuki has a very high skill ceiling with her Garuda rebound cancel tech, different combos, and moveset depth with her R special. A skill floor is how experienced with the character and good at the game you have to be in order to use them to at least most of their potential. A good way to think about skill floor is, if you put a brand new JJS player onto this character, how long would it take for them to win a 1v1 against a newer player on like Gojo? A character that has a higher skill floor outside of JJS would be a character like Yoru from Valorant, because if he uses TPs poorly or his clone ability bad, you'll lose a ton of value from his kit. An ideally skilled character would have an extremely high skill floor and skill ceiling. However, actually quantifying skill floors and ceilings in JJS is difficult to say the least. Like, take Yuji for example. I think he's actually pretty skilled, since he has like black flash chains and the mind games you can do with that, and the complex mobility with his feint. However, I've heard others argue that since his combos are simplistic and his cooldowns are low, he's unskilled just in how little of a disadvantage he gets when his combo is missed or messed up. Despite this though, Yuji has 15 less max HP, a wide variety of combos and synergies, and Manji Kick has huge end lag if you miss it. And once again, with his black flashes, to use them properly, you gotta spend at least a decent amount of time in black flash trainers to learn different ways to move around your enemies. So overall, although he's fundamentally a simple character, he does take a decent amount of skill to use properly, and is what I'd consider a skilled character. Once again, if we go back to Gojo, he doesn't really have many techs. His 3-4-1-R2 combo is extremely potent and takes less than 5 minutes to learn even with decent fundamentals. So I think most people would agree he's a pretty unskilled character. Sorry to you Gojo mains. Another important factor we should consider is the window of error you have to input certain actions. A quote-unquote skilled character should have to be extremely precise and quick with their movements and inputs to ensure that the target can't dodge or block. Once again, take Yuki for example. Her combos need extremely precise timing even at the lower level with her Garuda rebounds, Star Rage, and Mass Breaker. If you do any of these moves too late, the target can parry the rebound, punish you on Star Rage, or dodge your Mass Breaker. And if you do any of these moves too early, the same thing happens. And you may be saying, Blake, isn't this true with most characters? Well, on the other side of the spectrum, take Higuruma. Higuruma's combos don't require much precise timing. It's one move after the other after the other. As long as you spam those keys as fast as you can, the target is as good as dead. And lastly, although this is only applicable to a few characters, a resource management mechanic gives a little jump in difficulty to any character. The only characters who have this though are Yuki, Choso, and Ryu. For Yuki and Choso, it definitely gives the character some nuance, but Ryu is already OP as hell anyway at the time of writing, so whatever. Also, although this only kinda counts since it's an R special, I think Nanami deserves a mention here because you have to figure out when it's most effective to do a ratio breaker for the best combo and damage. And sometimes the answer to this question is a ratio breaker mid-combo, which adds a lot of skill and timing to Nanami's kit. Okay, so to recap, an ideally skilled character would have less HP, have precise combos that need specific timing to work, have a resource management mechanic, and would punish you for playing them poorly. And the characters we've discussed in this video fit into this category pretty well. Yuki, Nanami, and Yuji are all skilled characters in this regard. Okay, hold on. For the people who know who I main in JJS, it sounds like I'm just glazing my mains here because Yuji, Yuki, and Nanami are my big three. So let's use this definition to highlight some other skilled and unskilled characters, because we've gone over the same characters over and over again throughout this video. As we stated, Gojo and Higuruma are both easier characters to play. As a former Higuruma main, he is in general easy to play from the definition we just described, and in practice. Someone like Haruta is also easy to play. His ragdolls take forever to get up from, and a lot of his moves block break and hit ragdoll, so you don't need precise timing, and in general his combos are pretty easy to learn. Although a character like Choso does have a decently simple combo, his piercing blood move along with his resource management mechanic with his orbs give him a lot more nuance. I'd say, judging by this definition, he's on the more skilled side. Someone like Charles, however, has moves that don't require precise timing, have big hitboxes, he hits ragdoll and goes through blocking a lot of his moves, and although he has a counter, it looks like he's blocking while doing it, and there's almost zero end lag on it. A pretty easy character to play overall. However, even after all this, there's still a huge gray area. What about Todo, Locust Guy, Yuta, Megami, and the rest of the cast? Well, I'd say in these cases, the skill is in the hands of the player. And honestly, this goes for most of the more skilled characters too. Although the more skilled characters have crazy techs and things to worry about with them, you can play them like a brain-dead monkey and still have a solid chance at winning. Likewise, someone like Todo has pretty simple base moves, but his R special combined with his Black Flash, Pebble Throw, and other swapping tricks give him a super high skill ceiling. Hell, even Haruta can be played with at least a little skill to enhance his game. But who am I to say what character you should and shouldn't play? It's a fighting game with a large variety of characters, and at the end of the day, the fundamentals are what matters. Sure, some characters like Gojo are easy to play, but don't let that stop you from enjoying them. This video mainly serves as a deep dive into JJS characters and how they function skill-wise in-game. It's not a guide as to who you should and shouldn't play. However, if you ever lose to someone and want to call the character unskilled, brainless, or trash, think of the proper criteria first. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video, and if you did, drop a subscribe, man, come on, what are you waiting for? And tell me in the comments what you think makes a skilled character in JJS, if that's even a real thing. As always, hope you enjoyed, and with that, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.